If you're a man over 60 and you've started noticing changes in your performance, sensitivity, or even your confidence, especially in your most private area, you are far from alone. In fact, every single day at Dr. Emelda's Wellness, I meet men who quietly admit they're struggling with reduced firmness, fading sensation, or even subtle discomfort that chips away at their sense of masculinity over time. But here's something most men don't realize. Sometimes the solution isn't found in a prescription bottle or through an embarrassing trip to the pharmacy. What if I told you that one of the most overlooked natural remedies, something as simple as a natural oil that might already be sitting in your home, could help restore circulation, break down hidden stiffness, calm inflammation, and even revive sensation you thought was gone forever? I'm Dr. Emelda, and for more than 25 years, I've dedicated my work to men's health and natural healing. Here at Dr. Emelda's Wellness, my passion is helping men reclaim their vitality, confidence, and comfort using approaches that work with the body, not against it. And today, I want to share a powerful, science-supported, yet surprisingly underutilized remedy that has been helping countless men restore confidence without pills, injections, or invasive procedures. You may have heard of castor oil as an old-fashioned household remedy, but what most people don't know is that when used correctly, it has incredible potential for male rejuvenation. It's a golden, nutrient-rich oil with natural compounds that can improve blood flow, dissolve deep tissue stiffness, reduce chronic inflammation, reawaken nerve sensation, and strengthen and protect delicate skin. In this video, I'll walk you through the 5 most important benefits of castor oil for men over 60, and then I'll show you step by step how to use it safely, effectively, and consistently. And trust me, most men never hear this from their doctor. And stick with me until the end because I'll also reveal the one crucial step that most men overlook. If you skip it, you might miss out on the full healing effect. But before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, take a quick second to hit that button and turn on the bell. That way, you won't miss any of the natural, research-backed health strategies we share here at Dr. Emelda's Wellness, especially designed for men over 60. Now, if this topic resonates with you, go ahead and type 1 in the comments below. If it doesn't, type 0. This feedback helps us craft content that directly supports your journey toward lasting health and vitality. All right, let's get started with benefit number 1, the foundation of male vitality, blood flow. 1. Boost blood flow to the private area naturally. One of the very first and most immediate benefits men notice with castor oil is its ability to naturally increase circulation to the private area. And here's why. That matters because without strong, steady blood flow, everything else, firmness, sensation, and even your responsiveness, gradually begins to fade. I'll never forget one of my patients, Robert, a 67-year-old retired engineer. He sat across from me, stared down for a moment, and finally whispered, "Doc, it just doesn't work the way it used to." He wasn't talking about desire. His interest was still there. He was talking about the mechanics, the function, the firmness, that vital sense of aliveness that every man feels when his body responds the way it's supposed to. And like so many men I see, Robert didn't lose this overnight. It crept in gradually, so slowly that he didn't fully realize how much he had lost until it started affecting not just his intimacy, but his confidence in everyday life. The truth is, after the age of 60, our arteries naturally become less elastic, blood vessels begin to narrow, and levels of nitric oxide, the chemical signal your body uses to open blood vessels, start to decline. These changes don't always announce themselves right away, but little by little, they reduce circulation to the pelvic region. The result? Slower responses, weaker firmness, or sometimes no response at all. Now, this is where castor oil comes in. This thick, golden oil contains a unique compound called ricinoleic acid. Research shows this compound stimulates microcirculation by gently widening tiny blood vessels and encouraging oxygen-rich blood to flow into areas that have become sluggish. When you massage castor oil into the skin, especially when combined with gentle warmth, it doesn't just sit on the surface. It penetrates deep into the underlying tissues, nourishing blood vessels that have been dormant and coaxing them back into action. Many men describe feeling a pleasant warmth or tingling sensation within minutes, a clear sign that microcirculation is waking up. And here's the exciting part. Over time, this renewed blood flow can help bring back nighttime and spontaneous responses, increase sensitivity, and restore that quiet confidence every man deserves. Robert decided to give it a try. I suggested he apply castor oil 3 nights a week before bed. A month later, he returned with the smile I hadn't seen in years. He leaned forward and said, "Doc, something's shifting. It feels like my body is remembering what it's supposed to do." That wasn't a miracle. It was simply biology responding to the right kind of care. When you give your body the right tools, it often remembers how to restore itself. Now, improved circulation is only the beginning, because many men over 60 also struggle with something hidden, something that silently limits blood flow, alters shape, and causes stiffness without them even realizing what's happening. Let's talk about that next. 2. Breaks down internal tissue stiffness and hidden buildup. Not long ago, I met Daniel, a 71-year-old retired military veteran. He walked into my office looking frustrated and a little embarrassed. He finally sighed and said, "Dr. Emelda, something's just not right. It feels tight, it curves now, and I don't know what's happening to me." What Daniel was describing is something I see far more often than most people realize: internal tissue stiffness in the male organ. It's not widely talked about, and many men don't even know it exists. Yet, after age 60, it becomes increasingly common. Here's why. Over the years, small injuries, repeated strain, or even unaddressed inflammation leave behind microscopic scars inside the tissue. Your body heals by laying down collagen, which is like internal patchwork. Over time, this creates hardened areas, almost like internal knots or plaque that make the tissue less flexible. The result? A pulling sensation, loss of length or fullness, unexpected curvature, or even discomfort during intimacy. Most men dismiss these changes at first, but slowly it chips away at their confidence, intimacy, and sometimes their very sense of manhood. Now, here's the encouraging part. Castor oil has been used for centuries in natural medicine to soften scar tissue and support the body's ability to remodel itself. The ricinoleic acid penetrates deep below the skin and helps dissolve hardened collagen fibers over time, gently restoring flexibility. When applied consistently, especially with gentle warmth, the oil doesn't just stay on the surface. It seeps into the deeper tissues, working almost like a natural softener to ease stiffness and encourage better circulation where scarring has limited blood flow. In Daniel's case, I guided him to apply castor oil 3 to 4 nights a week, always followed with a warm compress for 15 to 20 minutes. 6 weeks later, he came back with the look of relief I hadn't seen in years. He leaned forward and said, "Doc, it's straighter, it's more comfortable. I feel like I'm finally getting control back." That's the kind of transformation that reminds me why consistency matters so much. These changes don't happen overnight, but when men stick with it, the results can be life-changing. And here's the important truth. Tissue stiffness is only one hidden culprit. There's another silent factor that affects thousands of men over 60, and most don't even realize it's happening. It's something that can spread throughout the pelvic region, cause subtle or nagging discomfort, and block healing if ignored. Let's look at that next. 3. Reduces chronic inflammation in the pelvic region. One of the most overlooked issues I see in men over 60 is something you can't always see, but you can definitely feel: low-grade chronic inflammation in the pelvic and private area. The tricky part? It doesn't always show up as obvious pain. Sometimes it's just a faint burning sensation. Other times it feels like tightness you can't quite put your finger on. And for many men, it shows up as a slow, steady decline in responsiveness. Things just don't feel the same anymore. I remember a patient named Michael, 66 years old. He described it in a way that really struck me. He said, "It feels like my body is pulling back, like everything is getting smaller, stiffer, and more uncomfortable over time." That's exactly what inflammation does. In small bursts, inflammation is part of your body's natural healing response. It protects and repairs. But when it lingers unchecked, especially in the sensitive tissues of the pelvic region, it becomes harmful. It narrows blood vessels, stiffens tissue, blocks proper healing, and accelerates the breakdown of delicate structures. And here's the hard truth. Many men live with this hidden inflammation for years without ever realizing it's the root cause of their discomfort and decline. This is where castor oil shines again. It isn't just a moisturizer, it's a powerful anti-inflammatory remedy. Ricinoleic acid, the main active compound, has been studied for its ability to calm swelling, reduce discomfort, and soothe stressed tissues. When massaged into the skin, castor oil doesn't simply coat the surface. It penetrates deeply, targeting those inflamed layers, easing the stress, and giving your body the signal that it's safe to begin healing again. Michael agreed to try it. He applied warm castor oil at night 3 to 4 times a week. 3 weeks later, his voice carried a new energy when he said, "Doc, I'm not just more comfortable, I feel like my body is opening back up." And that's exactly what happens when inflammation is reduced. Blood vessels can relax, circulation improves, flexibility returns, and the healing process finally begins. But reducing inflammation is only part of the story, because while pain and stiffness can be discouraging, what men often miss the most isn't firmness or shape, it's sensation, that spark, that deep, vital connection that makes intimacy feel alive. And that's where castor oil offers another surprising benefit. Let's talk about that next. 4. Restores nerve sensation and sensitivity. There's something many men hesitate to admit, even to their doctors. It's not just about struggling to get or maintain firmness. It's that even when things do happen, the sensation feels different, duller, weaker. I remember a patient named Larry, 70 years old. He sat across from me with tears in his eyes and said, I can still perform, but I don't feel it the way I used to. It's like my body is going through the motions, but my heart's not in it. I miss feeling something. That struck me deeply because I know Larry isn't alone. For many men, what hurts the most isn't the loss of function, it's the loss of connection. That spark of pleasure, that sense of aliveness begins to fade. And without it, intimacy can start to feel mechanical instead of meaningful. Here's what's happening. As we age, the tiny nerve endings responsible for transmitting pleasure signals can start to weaken. Reduced blood flow, chronic inflammation, hormonal changes, and even side effects from common medications can dull these nerve pathways. When that happens, men describe the experience as numbness, a lack of responsiveness, or even emotional flatness. But here's the good news. Castor oil can support nerve healing and reactivation. While this benefit is less well known, studies have explored castor oil's ability to calm irritated nerves and promote an environment where nerve fibers can repair themselves. When applied regularly, castor oil works in several ways at once. It improves circulation, ensuring nerves get the oxygen and nutrients they need. It reduces inflammation, which often compresses or irritates nerves. And it creates warmth and softness in the surrounding tissues, an environment where nerves can begin to wake back up. That's exactly what Larry experienced. I guided him to apply warmed castor oil nightly with gentle massage. After about a month, he leaned forward with a hopeful smile and whispered, "Doc, I can feel again. It's subtle, but it's coming back. And for the first time in years, I feel more like myself." That moment was powerful because restoring sensation isn't just about physical pleasure, it's about restoring identity, confidence, and emotional connection. But there's one more layer we can't ignore. Even if blood flow improves, stiffness softens, inflammation calms, and nerves come alive again, it all depends on the health of the skin itself. If the skin is fragile, dry, or breaking down, everything else suffers. So let's look at the final benefit of castor oil for men over 60, protecting and rejuvenating aging skin. When we talk about men's health after 60, most people focus on muscle strength, energy levels, or hormone decline. But one thing that rarely gets mentioned, yet quietly affects nearly every man, is the health of the skin, especially in the most private, sensitive area of the body. I recall a patient named Frank, 73 years old. He looked embarrassed when he said, "The skin down there feels thinner, drier. Sometimes it even cracks if I'm not careful." And he wasn't exaggerating. As men age, testosterone and other key hormones gradually decline. At the same time, the skin naturally loses collagen, elastin, and moisture. That combination makes the skin more fragile, less elastic, thinner, and slower to heal. For many men, this shows up as dryness, itching, flaking, or even micro tears that sting during intimacy. And here's the hidden problem. When the skin becomes fragile, it doesn't just affect comfort. It also leaves underlying nerves and blood vessels exposed to irritation, which can trigger more inflammation and accelerate decline. In other words, unhealthy skin quietly undermines everything else: circulation, sensation, and even confidence. This is where castor oil truly shines. Unlike water-based lotions that evaporate within minutes, castor oil is thick, rich, and deeply hydrating. It penetrates past the surface, locking in moisture, feeding the skin with fatty acids, and creating a natural protective barrier. Think of it like giving your skin a shield: soft, nourishing, but incredibly effective. Frank began applying a small amount of castor oil a few nights each week before bed.
Nothing complicated, just a gentle massage and a moment of self-care. Within weeks, he reported, the skin feels stronger, more resilient. I don't worry about tearing anymore. That change gave him not just physical comfort, but peace of mind. Because when the skin is healthy, the entire system performs better. Nerves stay protected, blood vessels remain flexible, and intimacy feels safer and more enjoyable. And that's the final piece of the puzzle. Together, these 5 benefits, improving blood flow, softening tissue stiffness, reducing inflammation, restoring sensation, and protecting fragile skin, make castor oil one of the most powerful, overlooked remedies for men over 60. But here's the catch. None of these benefits happen by accident. How you use castor oil makes all the difference. If you skip one key step, you may never experience its full potential. So now let me walk you through the exact method I teach my patients to ensure castor oil truly delivers results. How to use castor oil the right way. Now that you understand the powerful benefits of castor oil, better circulation, softer tissues, reduced inflammation, revived sensation, and stronger skin, the real question is, how do you actually use it to get results? This is where so many men go wrong. They hear about the benefits, maybe even try it once or twice, but without the right method, they don't notice much change. Then they give up, assuming it doesn't work. But healing doesn't come from guessing. It comes from consistency, patience, and applying the oil the right way. I'll never forget Gerald, one of my patients, 69 years old. When I first recommended castor oil, he raised his eyebrow and chuckled, "You want me to put what? Where?" But he trusted me enough to try. A few weeks later, he came back smiling and said, "Doc, it's not just working. I actually look forward to doing it now." Here's exactly what I taught him and what I teach all my patients. Step 1, choose the right oil. Always use 100% pure, cold-pressed castor oil. No additives, no perfumes, no refined blends. The purer, the better, because this is going on very sensitive skin. Step 2, warm the oil slightly. Castor oil is thick, so warming it makes it easier to spread and it helps it absorb better. You can rub a small amount between your palms until it softens, or place the bottle in a cup of warm, not boiling, water for a few minutes. Step 3, gentle massage. Apply a small amount to the shaft, base, and surrounding pubic area. Use slow, circular motions, not with force, but with presence. Spend about 3 to 5 minutes. This isn't about fixing yourself. It's about giving your body the environment it needs to heal. Step 4, add gentle warmth. For best results, apply a warm towel or a low-heat compress for 15 to 20 minutes afterward. The heat helps the oil penetrate deeply into the tissues and boost circulation even more. Step 5, stay consistent. Do this 3 to 4 nights a week, ideally before bed, so your body can absorb and repair overnight. With patience, you may notice subtle changes within weeks and more significant shifts as months go by. Gerald, the patient I mentioned earlier, stayed with this routine. Over time, not only did he notice improvements in firmness and sensation, but he also told me something that really stood out. It's become a ritual. I feel more connected to myself now. That's the beauty of this practice. It's not just a treatment. It's a form of self-care. When healing becomes part of your rhythm, your body responds in powerful ways. But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with something even more important than the physical results. Because this journey isn't just about circulation, nerves, or skin. At its core, it's about something deeper, something every man deserves to reclaim. The deeper truth. After working with men for decades, I've learned something important. What most men truly want isn't just performance, it's connection, confidence, the ability to feel like themselves again. Because when things start to change in that private, intimate part of your body, whether it's firmness, sensation, comfort, or even shape, it doesn't just affect the bedroom. It affects how you see yourself as a man. It can shake your confidence, your relationships, and even your sense of identity. That's why I believe so strongly in sharing tools like this. Natural, safe, and often overlooked remedies like castor oil can give men a chance to reclaim their vitality without embarrassment, without dependency on pills, and without invasive procedures. Sometimes healing isn't about doing more or forcing your body. It's about slowing down, listening, and giving it the nourishment it needs to come back to life. So if you're a man over 60 and you've noticed the changes, whether it's weaker responses, loss of sensation, unwanted curvature, tightness, or even emotional distance from your own body, please hear this. You are not broken. You are not alone. And it is not too late. Castor oil isn't a miracle, but it is powerful. With patience and consistency, it can restore blood flow, soften hidden stiffness, reduce inflammation, revive nerve sensation, and protect fragile skin. And more than that, it can become a quiet ritual, a moment of self-care that reconnects you to your body and your strength. I've seen men walk into my clinic discouraged, carrying years of quiet frustration, and walk out weeks later with hope in their eyes. I've seen how something as simple as a few minutes of consistent care can restore not only physical function, but also dignity, confidence, and connection. So, wherever you are in this journey, remember this: your body is still listening, your system still responds, and you still deserve to feel alive, whole, and strong. Thank you for spending this time with me here at Dr. Emelda's Wellness. If this message spoke to you, take the first step tonight. Healing begins with action, and your body is ready to respond. And if you found this video valuable, please take a moment to like it. It helps more men discover natural solutions like this. Share it with a brother, a friend, or someone you know who might be quietly struggling but hasn't found the answers yet. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the research-backed strategies we share here at Dr. Emelda's Wellness. Together, we're building a community where men can age with strength, vitality, and dignity. You're part of that movement. Stay strong, stay connected, and remember, it's never too late to reclaim your vitality.